speculation from the mainstream media today about me and President Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen.
President Trump fights to keep his documents private.
An ABC News exclusive. James Comey here for his to be prosecuted. What Comey is saying about the president's response to his interview with George on GMA this morning.
Spring break disaster. Hundreds of Americans stranded in Mexico. Airline's next flight out won't be until June. The outrage growing this morning.
And incredible victory. The first American woman in more than 30 years to win the Boston Marathon. Powerful moment of sportsmanship, waiting for her friend to catch up, putting her victory at risk.
Live in Times Square, GMA, with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And it is great to have Paula Ferris here. What about that amazing win by Des?
An incredible win and a resurgence for the American women. But if you didn't see it, she's the first American years, and that friend she was waiting for was Shalene Flanagan, who won the New York City Marathon in November. Unprecedented that we're going to talk about a little bit later.
It was casual look back there.
Just a little bit. And George, your interview, of course, with James Comey getting a lot of headlines. And his book is finally out today. And this morning, the former FBI director is going to be here live, as you see here in Times Square. There's so many questions, George, left to ask him.
We got to get his reaction to all the reaction coming into the headlines. Fox News anchor Sean Hannity named as one of the clients of President Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Porn star Stormy ABC's Kira Phillips is here with the latest. Good morning, Kira. And Kira, the key question in the courtroom was, would President Trump's attorneys get a first raid?
That's right. We're going to talk about that, George. But first, just you saw the media circus outside the courtroom, inside the courtroom, no cameras, but we did have producers. The attorney had to reveal that third client over the past year. Those in the court literally gasped when they heard the name Sean Hannity.
The media went out.
Sean Hannity, the conservative Fox News host, addressing the surprise revelation that he was once the client of President Cohen.
There's been all kinds of wild speculation from the mainstream media today about me after my name was mentioned in court proceedings earlier.
Name revealed as Cohen's client during this explosive hearing to last week's FBI raids of Cohen's office, home, and hotel room.
Michael Cohen never represented me in any legal matter. I never retained his services. I never received paid Michael Cohen for legal fees. I did have occasional brief conversations with Michael Cohen and involved any matter, sorry to disappoint so many, matter between me all. And my questions exclusively almost focused on real estate.
After those FBI raids on Cohen, President Trump made a hard push for his legal team to review those seized documents. But the judge off on that decision. Stormy Daniels, front and center for the court proceedings.
My attorney and I are committed to making sure that everyone finds out the truth and the facts of what happened, and I that happened.
During the hearing, the judge demanded to know the names of Cohen's three clients, in addition to clients Donald Trump, Republican fundraiser Elliot Broidy, who paid a Playboy model $1.6 million to keep silent. Mentioned the third client wished to remain anonymous. After some back and forth, Hannity was eventually named. Last night on Dershowitz admonished the host for failing to disclose his relationship with Cohen on the air.
That I really think that you should have disclosed your relationship with Cohen. You didn't want the fact that you had spoken to him to be revealed, and you had the right, by the way, not to have your identity revealed.
I have the right to privacy.
Dershowitz also blasting the raid, saying it could open the door to precedent and seizing records protected by attorney-client privilege. Meanwhile, Michael Cohen will go to protect Donald Trump. And does he still represent the president? Yes, he still saying he will do anything to protect Mr. Trump. I saw your reaction, too, with the Dershowitz interview. I mean, the fact he was on the program and going right after Hannity.
Confronting him head on. Okay, Kira, thanks very much. Let's get to our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams. Let's start out with this Hannity thing, because it's hard to really know how and where it fits into this case.
Right, because on the one hand, you have Michael Cohen saying he's one of my 3 clients. That's it. They're just 3 clients you need to know about, and he's one of them. And yet then you have Sean Hannity saying he was never my lawyer. I never paid him, I never retained him, etc. So my guess is kind of in-between world, meaning he never paid him, he never retained him, but he was getting legal counsel from him in some way, shape, or form. Because otherwise, you know, Michael Cohen's lawyer isn't being honest with the court. I mean, remember, it's not the media that put Sean Hannity in this position. It's Michael Cohen's lawyer who put him in this position.
The court was actually dealing with quite a serious issue yesterday. The president's attorneys had gone in saying, we want to look at all these documents in the raid first to make sure they weren't privileged. The judge basically said no, at least not for now.
Right. This is an attorney-client privilege question. The question is, now that the raid has happened, who gets to look at the documents first? And typically, and again, this happens, meaning lawyers' offices are raided, and there's a specific protocol that's in place that has been adhered to here. And what happens is you have a team of prosecutors who are not working on the investigation, who go in and determine if something is privileged, then that does not go to the investigators. What Cohen's team is saying is, we want to be those people.
And Trump's team as well.
Right, well, Trump and Cohen, right, saying we want to be the ones to go in there and give that first look at the documents. The judge said no, but is waiting a week or so to let them gather everything, put it onto a database, then come back to her to figure out, will it be the prosecutors or some independent person who gets the
outside lawyer
exactly who will get the first look.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much. And we want to tell you, Stormy Daniels is going to be giving an exclusive interview to The View this morning at 11 Eastern. It's 10 Central. Let's go to Robin right now.
Okay, George. And of course, the President Trump, he is facing all these headlines while he is in Mar-a-Lago this morning, where he'll meet with the Japanese Prime Minister. Our chief White House correspondent, Jonathan Karl, is there. And John, any reaction from the president to the Cohen hearing so far?
Robin, the president's legal team has made it clear that they will continue to fight on this. This was a setback, clearly, but it's just the beginning of the process. They will fight to keep Cohen's material from getting in the hands of prosecutors, citing attorney-client privilege. And, Robin, the stakes are incredibly high. If you talk to people very close to the president, they will say that they fear they are more concerned about Cohen's material than they are with whatever Robert Mueller, the special counsel, has.
And something else on people's minds. UN Ambassador Nikki Haley announced new sanctions against Russia. And it seemed like the president and the White House walked back those statements a bit.
Oh, they absolutely walked him back. Haley actually said the sanctions would be put in place Monday. Yesterday, it did not happen. I am told the president directly intervened on this. It's still something that may happen. He wants to keep it as something that he can impose on the Russians. And also, Robin, I am told the president still very much wants to have a one-on-one meeting with Vladimir Putin, including telling aides that he'd like that meeting to be at the White House.
We'll see if that does happen. Okay, John, thank you very much. Paula?
Something that should be of concern to all of us. Good morning. Now to that new urgent warning about Russian hackers. The U.S. and U.K. are issuing a rare joint statement about a massive attack which is targeting millions of homes and businesses worldwide through the internet and our routers. ABC's Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas joins us from Washington. Pierre, how worrisome is this?
Indeed, Paula, good morning. Today, U.S. law enforcement and Homeland Security officials are warning that Americans again are the victims of Russian government hackers who are secretly exploiting something very close to home. New this morning, the government issuing an urgent alert, warning that state-sponsored Russian hackers have secretly launched a campaign to infiltrate internet routers to commit espionage, steal business and design secrets, and to potentially launch future attacks. They target millions of American companies, small businesses, even your homes. Those routers controlling the flow of internet traffic, now apparently one of the primary gateways for the Russian government to snoop on Americans and potentially shut down services.
These devices actually make ideal targets. This is a global threat. The simple way to think about it is that once you own the router, you own the traffic that's traversing the router.
The new warning coming on the heels of a recent intelligence report that Russian government hacking has targeted a wide range of U.S. critical infrastructure, including the electric grid, nuclear power plants, water treatment, aviation. Security analysts sounding the alarm that we may be on the cusp of cyber warfare.
Imagine, if you would, that during the Cold War we found out that Soviet military intelligence operatives had placed secret explosives that could take down the electric grid all around the United States.
The Russians, in some cases, have gained access to internet router passwords and credentials. Once they're in, they can see your internet traffic, like your emails, and even change content and commandeer your computers, Paula.
So they're taking over our computers. That's extremely troubling, Pierre. But there is the concern that these bad actors, they've already embedded themselves into our routers. So what can we do to protect ourselves?
Paula, many of us may not realize it, but you can actually change the password on your router. In fact, authorities are emphasizing the public can play a role in reducing this threat. That's the primary reason they're putting out this alert, Paula.
Good advice, Pierre. Note to myself, change my router password when I get home.
I think a lot of people are going to be doing that, Paula. Thank you. We have the latest now on Barbara Bush, the former First Lady, at home with family this morning, suffering from congestive heart failure and chronic respiratory illness. ABC's Dan Harris joins us near her home there in Houston. Good morning, Dan.
Robin, good morning to you. We're coming to you from downtown Houston in front of a statue of the former President George H.W. Bush. A few miles from here, inside a gated community, the Bush family home, where this morning the former First Lady, Barbara Bush, is surrounded by her family, including, of course, her 93-year-old husband and her 5 children, among whom there is, of course, another former president, George W. Bush, and a one-time presidential hopeful, Jeb Bush, who ran in 2016. Barbara Bush is 92 years old. She's been married to George Bush for 73 years. That's the longest marriage in American presidential history. She's become one of the most popular members of this American political dynasty, in part because of her candor and forthrightness. And in her failing health with her heart and lung problems, she has decided to go public with a very personal decision, which is she's no longer pursuing medical coverage, medical treatment for her underlying conditions, rather pursuing what's called comfort care to treat her symptoms and make her comfortable in whatever time remains.
And we do hope that she is as comfortable as she can be in this situation. And any idea her spirits? We hear that she's, still always trying to lift everyone else around her.
Well, that's right. Her family says she's in good spirits, that she's still feisty. They call her the enforcer. Her family spokesman has put out a statement calling her a rock, saying she's more concerned about other people's well-being instead of her own. And I found a great quote from her from a few years back, Robin, where she said to a reporter, and I'm quoting here, "I'm not afraid of death. I've done it all."
All right, Dan, thank you very much. And again, we continue to think of the entire Bush family and lift them up in our prayers, George.
We do, Robin. And we also have an update on Senator John McCain. He's been fighting brain cancer, and now he's recovering from surgery to treat an intestinal infection at the Mayo Clinic in Phoenix. His daughter Megan tweeted, "My father, Senator John McCain, is in stable condition. He continues to inspire me every day with an intense grit and determination." She thanked the doctors and everyone praying for him. Paula?
Actually, I'll take it here,
Okay.
George. Now to that fallout growing from the arrest of 2 black men at that Starbucks in Philadelphia. It was caught on camera, as you know. Angry protesters briefly shutting down the store on Monday. And now the company says that store manager who called police is no longer working there. ABC's Lindsay Davis is on the scene and has more. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hey, good morning to you, Robin. This location is back open for business this morning, but that manager who called the police on the 2 black men who were sitting inside of the restaurant, well, she is out of a job this morning, but that has not stopped the protests. Several groups have come to this Starbucks location to march, sit in, stand up, speak out, you name it, in the wake of the viral video of the 2 black men escorted out of the Starbucks in handcuffs. Police say the men were sitting at a table but had not made a purchase. When they were asked to leave, they refused. That's when the manager called 911, reporting the incident as trespassing. Witnesses say they were simply waiting for a friend. The police commissioner says his officers did nothing wrong, but the police department is currently reviewing the incident. Now, the mayor of Philadelphia says this is not a Starbucks issue. He says this is a societal issue, and he went on to say there is work that we have to do. And Robin, as you know, when you spoke directly with the CEO of Starbucks, he said that he desired to sit down face to face with the men to apologize. We've heard from a Starbucks spokesperson. They say that they are hopeful that meeting will happen sometime this week.
And he said he wanted to work with those two gentlemen also in finding a solution, much as people are saying this is not just a Starbucks issue, it's a societal issue. But we are hearing that this perhaps is not the first incident at that particular Starbucks.
Yeah, we've heard from the mayor's office. They say that they've received additional reports about similar incidents at this exact location, Robin. They say they're looking into it.
All right, Lindsay, thank you very much. Paul?
CEO taking important first steps, but those are just first steps. Thanks, Robin. Now to an urgent manhunt that is underway for a grandmother who is on the run, accused of killing her husband in Minnesota and then killing a woman who looked like her in Florida, all in order to steal her identity. ABC's Victor Okendo has the latest on her possible whereabouts.
This morning, the nationwide manhunt for the grandmother in the blue shirt seen here smiling on surveillance, accused of murdering her husband and the woman she's speaking with at the bar.
The only thing we know is that she is absolutely armed, dangerous.
Lois Reese allegedly killed her husband last month in Minnesota, then took off in their Cadillac Escalade. Her first stop, a casino in Iowa.
Our suspect loves casinos, and she has a gambling problem.
From there, Reese made her way down to Fort Myers, Florida, where police say she made a calculated decision, lining up her next victim by